You've been underpaid long enough. Corporate taught you to be grateful with 3% raises and approval for managers who didn't see your full potential. But you're not that woman anymore. You're a CEO now. And CEOs don't ask for raises. They set their rate. And today, we are talking about the biggest power move in your business. Raising your prices with confidence. Because the moment you decide your work is worth more, your business changes, your energy shifts, and your income follows. Welcome to From Corporate to CEO, hosted by the Power Move Collective. I'm your host, Nandy B, and this is your daily podcast that proves that you don't have to resign in order to rise. Here, ambitious women like yourself learn how to leverage your paycheck, your skills, and your corporate career to launch and grow your own business. And in just 10 minutes every day, I'll share power moves that will turn your 9 to 5 into your greatest investor. Make sure, however, that you hit subscribe so that you never miss an episode. With that said, let's get on with today's episode. Welcome back to another episode, everyone. We are still on that CEO awakening journey. We have been talking about what it really means to grow, not recklessly, but strategically. If you've ever felt nervous about setting your prices and saying it loud and proud, if you've ever lowered your rates because you wanted clients to say yes, or if you've ever felt guilty of charging for your genius, this episode is here to give you the permission slip to say, stop, my darling, stop it. So let's talk about what it really takes to raise your prices and to own it. There are 3 shifts you need to make to raise your prices and to do so with confidence. I call them the 3 CEO shifts of your worth. You are going to shift from hours to outcome. The second shift is to go from validation to value. And the third shift is to shift from fear to framework. These aren't just mindset tips here. They're business upgrades. When you make these shifts, you stop playing small and you start earning like a leader, like a true CEO. Now, not all of us are going to be David Zaslav. Not all of us are going to be the CEOs of a Fortune 500 company bringing in billions or millions. But we can at least get what we believe our worth and our value is. So let's break each one of these shifts one at a time. The first CEO shift of your worth is to shift from hours to outcome. I'm hoping this one is self-explanatory. You don't sell your time. You sell transformations. In corporate, you were trained to think in hours. You work 8 hours, you earn your pay. But CEOs think in outcome. You pay me for results, not the minutes it takes. If it takes 1 hour to solve a problem that's been holding someone back for years, that's not a $100 session. That's a $1,000 transformation. So stop discounting your expertise just because it comes easy to you. What is effortless to you is exceptional to someone else. So make sure you price your services based on the value they bring and not your time. Now let's talk about the second CEO shift of your worth, from validation to value. Stop waiting for permission. When you're in corporate, someone else is setting your salary. When you're a CEO, you set the value. No one has to approve your rates. So instead of asking, will people pay me for this? Really ask yourself, what kind of client will this price attract? High value clients don't want the cheapest option. I promise you that. They want the most aligned one. When you raise your prices, you don't just elevate your income. You also elevate your audience. And ladies, let me tell you something. I'm speaking from experience, and it's 100% true. I do have lots of stories to tell, but we only have 10 minutes for this quick bite. Let's move on to the third CEO shift of your worth. That is to move from fear to framework. This one is a game changer. When you move from fear to framework, it really empowers you and it strengthens you in a way you cannot even begin to imagine. Because most of us are moving and are leading our business through the framework of fear instead of abundance. You see, fear says, what if no one buys? Framework says, here is how I back it up. When you raise your price, you must also raise your clarity. And you guys, a lot of what I'm talking about here is not nonsense where you're like, I'm going to charge $1,000 based on what? I'm going to charge that because I think I'm worth it. Yeah, you thinking you're worth it doesn't mean that your transformation, your clarity matches that. I was straight out of college. This was back in about 2015, 10 years ago. I had a friend who was starting a coaching business. Mind you, she was an MLM. Left her job as a nurse, went to pursue an MLM, and this girl had so much confidence. So she decided to become a business coach and help other women grow their businesses. Okay, based on what? She did MLM for 1 year, but you know what? I love a woman who can believe in herself. And at the time, I was also growing my business. One of the first businesses I had was a mobile spa business. So I was like, well, I could use a coach to kind of help me navigate how to grow this business. And this woman had the audacity to say that her services were $1,000 an hour. This is a woman who was a nurse a couple of minutes ago and did network marketing for 1 year. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes the best teachers may not always be people who have done it, but they can structure things in such a way that they can challenge your perception, etc. I was like, $1,000? And you're talking to a girl straight out of, I am 3 years removed from college. I can barely pay my rent. And you think I have $1,000 to give you? And when I even asked her, what do I get for that $1,000? She's like, well, I'm going to motivate you and challenge you. Anyhow, back to the conversation. Tangent over. Can you articulate your process? Can you outline the transformation? Can you confidently say, here is how I am going to help you. Here is how we are going to take you from here to here. Can you really articulate that? When you have a clear framework, your confidence will skyrocket because you're not guessing your worth. You're demonstrating it. And the person listening to you will also really understand the value and the transformation they are going to get from your service, your program, etc. This is how CEO sell with evidence and not just emotions. So let's talk about what happens when you start applying these shifts. When you stop selling hours and you start selling income, when you reclaim your time, when you stop seeking validation and you start standing in value, when you attract aligned clients, and when you stop fearing your prices and you start backing them with framework, you become undeniable. You stop negotiating your worth and you start embodying it. That is the energy that scales. So with that, let's now talk about the power move of the day. We are going to take action. let's reflect. Let's think this through. Take 20 minutes today and run your current offer through these questions. Am I charging for my time or for my transformation? Do my prices attract the kind of client I want them to attract? Third question, do I have a framework that supports my rate? Very important. If any of these answers make you pause, good. That pause is your growth moment. Write down what needs to change and make one small adjustment today. It could be rewriting your offer description. It could be updating your rate sheets, or even just saying your price out loud until it feels natural to you. That is your power move. Thank you so much for joining me today on From Corporate to CEO. If you loved what you heard today, please subscribe to the show and visit us at powermovecollective.com. And if you are ready to start taking action, here are two great options. You can download our free Safe Start Blueprint. It's on our website and the link is also in the description below. However, if you, my darling, are ready to take action and say goodbye to corporate America for good, join us in the Business Plan Mastermind that is kicking off on January 12th, 2026.